Okay, so now f3 by Lputian, and guys, just take a look at this monster center of white, which is just crazy. Whereas look at the black position. I mean, here black is ahead in development and now he is ready to castle, and then he's going to strike in the center with either c5 or e5. And guys, this complete setup is known as King's Indian Defense Shamish variation. And after that, here Kasparov develops his knight to c6, eyeing the central pawn. And now Kasparov brings his rook to e-file, eyeing the king. But guys, instead of this move, here Kasparov can consider this amazing move c5, attacking the bishop. And if b takes c5, now comes this amazing move knight takes e4, opening the king's side structure. And let's say if f takes e4, as you can see now this file is now opened, and black can now anytime give a check. But before that, rook takes b1 check. And if knight takes b1, and suddenly you can see white pieces are getting in back foot, and black now take advantage of this with the move queen to h4 check. And obviously white can't push g3 due to the threat of queen takes e4 check. So bishop to e3, and finally queen takes h1. So that's why after queen to h4 check, here king to d1 is forced. But after that, queen takes e4. And now just take a look at this position. I mean, black pieces are going to rip off the white king. Just look at this. The rook is now ready to join the attack, as well as bishop to g4 check is coming. On the other side, just take a look at this knight, this bishop and the rook. I mean, they are just in their original places. And, just look at the bishop, which is fighting on the behalf of white, which is also targeted by the bishop and the queen. And clearly you can see this by all of this, you can see this position will be slightly better for black. But in the game, after rook to e8, bishop to e2, and you can see now he is also preparing to castle, but c5. And finally Kasparov pushed the pawn, b takes e5, And guys, in this position, Kasparov goes for the variation, which is knight takes e4, with the same idea which I mentioned earlier. And guys, in this position, despite this queen being attacked, here, Kasparov plays rook to b2. And guys, what a move is this? I mean, if now, let's say white decides to capture the rook, now comes bishop takes d4 check, king to e1, bishop takes c3 check, queen takes c3, and finally queen takes e4, attacking the bishop as well as the rook. And no need to tell that who is winning in this position. And guys, another possibility after rook to b2 is bishop takes g7. And let's say if rook takes d2, then g takes h4, king takes g7. And clearly you can see here black rooks are more active with a completely better position. Okay, so in the game after rook to b2, and as you can see, Lputian attacks the rook again. But guys, that's not the main idea of Lputian. His idea is so amazing that it will literally blow your mind. And guys, now comes the most interesting part of this game. Okay, so as of black, what will you play in this position? And now most of you will say, bro, obviously I'm gonna slide this rook because as you can see, there is no other safe square left for the rook. But guys, in reality, that's a blunder. I mean, by this move, black loses all of his advantage because now white is going to first of all capture the pawn on d6. And just take a look at these. I mean, these forces are coming together to destroy the black's position, supported by the king, knight, and the bishop. And also this rook is also coming to join the party. And let's say if black tries to attack the structure with f5, then bishop to f3, f takes e4 check, bishop takes e4, and in the end you can see white is going to push c5 with this amazing passed pawns. Okay, so let me show you a quick variation from here. I know some of you might be confused that how is this possible. So let's say if bishop to d7, if he tries to stop the pawn, but then rook to b1, asking for rook exchange, takes, king to f6, getting closer to the pawn, but c5, rook to c8, if he tries to attack, then king to d4, defending the pawn. And if let's say a5, knight to c3, h6, knight to d5 check, king to e6, and yeah, you are right, knight to b6, attacking the rook and the bishop. And after rook to d8, bishop to d5 check, king to f5, knight takes d7, rook takes d7, c6, attacking the rook, rook takes d6, c7. And now I think most of you got the complete idea, and guys, that's the complete trap setup by Lputian, which is just on another level. And I think he might forget that who his opponent was, who is Garry Kasparov, because after king to d3, okay, so let me go back. Yeah, so in this position, Kasparov played a move that not only shocked Lputian but also shocked the entire chess world, because in this position he sacrificed the rook with rook takes c3 check. And guys, seriously, this move deserves an Oscar. The idea behind this move is, after king takes c3, d takes c5, and now just take a look at this shatter pawn structure, which was previously the only way for white to give some counterplay, but now I think it's not possible. So now, since this e4 pawn is attacked, so Lputian defends with bishop to d3, but now bishop to b7, creating a double attack. So to defend this, and in the next move, rook to e1 is coming with the idea of rook takes bishop. So that's why here Lputian blocks the e file with bishop to e2. And now I just want you all to pause the video and just try to find, just try to think that what Kasparov played in this position. And guys, now I think most of you got the move, which is bishop to g4. The idea is to deflect the bishop so that he can promote. So obviously white is not gonna take this, but then rook to e1, and you can see rook to d1 check is coming. Okay, so rook to f7, here Lputian tries to attack the pawn, but bishop to f5, he just blocks it. a5, bishop takes d3, and if white captured the bishop, then obviously black is going to promote. So that's why he decides to capture the pawn. But in this position, the final move by Kasparov is rook to f1, and in this position Smbat Lputian resigned. This is because this is now all over for white. I mean, let's say if white decides to slide his rook to g2, then bishop takes c4, rook to g5, attacking the pawn, but then rook to f5, rook to g4, bishop to a6, rook to a4, c4, king to c3, but then check, king to b4, rook to b3 check, king to c5, c3. And you can see now no one can stop this c-pawn from promotion. What an amazing game, guys. I mean, his sacrifices and especially the move rook takes c3 were just on another level. Like this video and I will see you in the next one. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.